Taxes on mutual fund. There are different type of taxes on mutual fund. Long-term capital gain tax on equity oriented scheme. Long-term capital gain tax on non-equity oriented schemes, mainly debt oriented schemes. Short-term capital gain tax on equity oriented schemes. Short-term capital gain tax on non-equity oriented schemes. Tax on dividend income received from the mutual fund. Dividend distribution tax on mutual fund. Security transaction tax. Let's check each one in detail. Taxes on equity oriented scheme. Long-term capital gain tax on equity oriented schemes. So what is the criteria to know that holding is long-term or short-term? So when holding periods are more than a year, then it is long-term. When holding period is less than a year, then it is short-term. As per section 112A of the Income Tax Act, equity oriented funds are subjected to a long-term capital gain tax of 10% for a resident individual when the capital gain is more than rupees 1 lakh. So here you need to remember that if you are holding mutual fund unit for more than a year, then at the time of selling, if your capital gain is more than 1 lakh, then after you need to pay 10% tax. Let's understand this with an example. Assume that in year 2017 you invested rupees 2 lakhs in equity oriented schemes. So your investment value is 2 lakh. Then in 2020 upon selling those units you received rupees 4 lakh. So your gain is 4 lakhs minus 2 lakhs, which is 2 lakhs. 2 lakhs gain. Out of this 2 lakhs, 1 lakh will not attract any tax. So 2 lakhs minus 1 lakhs, so remaining is 1 lakh. So on 1 lakh only you need to pay capital gain tax of 10%. Short-term capital gain tax on equity oriented schemes. So as we know, holding period is less than a year, comes under short-term capital gain tax. You need to remember when you will make profit, then only you need to pay tax. As per section 111A of the Income Tax Act, equity oriented funds are subjected to short-term capital gain of 15% for resident individual. Investments are subjected to STCG tax if held for less than a year. So under section 112A and 111A, we have seen that it is applicable to resident individual. Let's see it for other classes too. So here in this table you can clearly see that short-term capital gain tax for resident, PIO, NRI, other non-FII, non-resident under section 111A, 50% on such gain if security transaction tax has been paid on redemption of short-term capital asset being unit of equity oriented fund. So it is 15% for short-term capital gain. For FII, foreign institutional investor, under section 115 AD, 15% on such gain if STT has been paid on redemption. In all other cases, it will be taxable at 30%. Long-term capital gain for resident, PIO, NRI other than FII non-resident, it is 10%. You can see here under section 112A of the Act, where long-term capital gain exceeds rupees 1 lakh without indexation benefit. Cases when STT is not paid payable on redemption. So in those cases, for the resident it is 20% with indexation. For NRI it is 10% without indexation, which is on unlisted securities. On listed security it is 20% with indexation benefit. For FII, where STT is paid, 10%. When STT is not paid, then 10% without indexation benefit. So in short, you need to remember that your mutual fund investment capital gain attracts some taxes. When it is short-term capital gain, then it is 15%. When it is long-term, then it is 10% when your capital gain exceeds rupees 1 lakh. Taxes on schemes other than equity oriented scheme. Long-term capital gain tax on non-equity oriented schemes, mainly debt oriented schemes. So here it is considered long-term when holding period is more than 36 months, meaning 3 years. As per section 112 of the Income Tax Act, debt-oriented funds are subjected to long-term capital gain of 20% for a resident individual with indexation benefits. What is this indexation? It means adjusting the acquisition cost to reflect the impact of inflation. Short-term capital gain tax on debt-oriented schemes when holding period is less than 36 months. And here rule is simple. Debt-oriented funds are subjected to short-term capital gain tax as per the applicable income tax slab. So what is your income tax slab? So in which income tax slab you come, your capital gain tax will be accordingly. Let's look this. So rates are different for resident, PIO, NRI, other than FII, non-resident and FII. We have already seen for resident. Now let's have a look for the FII. So under section 115 AD, 30% tax rate FII need to pay on short-term capital gain. On long-term capital gain, again under section 115 AD, 10% without indexation benefit. So for non-equity oriented schemes, we need to remember that if it is short-term capital gain tax, then capital gain will be taxed as per applicable tax rate. But when it is long-term, then it is 20% with indexation. Securities transaction tax. Security transaction tax applies on transaction value. Equity-oriented schemes are subjected to STT, however, debt-oriented funds are excluded from STT. Based on the different transactions performed by investors, the following are the applicable tax rate. Purchase of units of equity-oriented mutual fund, no STT. Sale of units of equity-oriented mutual fund, delivery-based, 0.001% of transaction value, payable by seller. Sale of equity share, units of equity-oriented mutual fund, non-delivery based, rates 0.025%, payable by sellers. Then comes dividend distribution tax on mutual fund. DDT on a mutual fund is a tax on distributed income which mutual fund company deduct from the distributed income to investors. Mutual funds are liable to pay dividend distribution tax as per section 115R of the Act. The mutual fund would be required to gross up the amount on which dividend distribution tax is to be paid. So here you can see different tax rates applicable are shown here. This I have shown for a period 1st April 2019 till 31st March 2020. Income distributed to an individual or Hindu undivided family by a money market mutual fund or liquid fund, it is 38.83%. Income distributed to any other person by a money market mutual fund or liquid fund, it is 49.92%. Income distributed to any other person by an equity oriented fund, it is 12.94%. Income distributed to any person being an individual or a Hindu undivided family by a fund other than money market mutual fund or liquid fund, it is 38.83%. Income distributed to any other person by a fund other than a money market fund or liquid fund, it is 49.92%. Important is that this effective tax rate inclusive of surcharge at 12% and cess at 4%. 5% income tax will be payable on income distribution by a mutual fund under an infrastructure debt fund scheme to a non-resident not being a company or a foreign company. Tax on dividend income received from the mutual fund. As per section 1035 of Income Tax Act 1961, any income received by individual HUF from a mutual fund are exempt from tax as the company declaring such income already deduct the dividend distribution tax before paying the dividend income to the investors. Since tax rates are different to different schemes, you need to be careful while purchasing mutual fund schemes.